guys, welcome back to BMW Fanatic. In this video, I'm gonna go over some quick tips and details when you're ready to buy a BMW in general. This is going to be focused mostly on the N54 and even N55, just because I'm gonna hit some of the more important like recalls, TSBs, you know, things to look out for, certain maintenance pieces that are gonna be pretty much tailored to an N54 mostly, but some bleed over with the N55. So this is, like I said, this is going to be a quick user guide, so that way you guys can quickly look over the car. I do have a more in-depth video that's a little bit longer. I'll post that here at the top. You can go ahead and check that out. That's going to go into more detail in general, but I am hitting the high points and the very important pieces in the shortest amount of time here for this video. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll walk around the car and I'll show you those pieces right here. So you're gonna be able to tell a lot from the body of your paint as far as what's the condition of it. Meaning, you just go up to the car itself, right? You can tell if someone took care of it or not. Just take your finger upside so you're not getting your fingernail and just kind of feel around on the body. If it's very, very smooth, then you know someone took care of the body itself. You're not gonna have any kind of, you know, like rough paint, any kind of contamination that's on the paint right there. So it's just stuff like that to look out for on the body. Next, moving over to the tires. You want to double check the tread to see where you're at. Also, down at the brakes itself, go ahead, if the car is cold, don't do it when it's hot. So probably do it before you drive. You can kind of get a sense if someone drove it before, but just take your finger, put it in, feel on the rotor. If you're gonna have a lip on the rotor, on the top here, then you know that your rotor's gonna need to be replaced. Now, some dealers will spray the entire engine bay off so that way it looks clean and there's no leaks or anything. So this is why you want to drive it first and then check everything. But if it's cold, obviously make sure it's cold. Making sure they're using blue BMW coolant, not green or anything else like that. Make sure there's just coolant in there and not oil. Flip open your lid here. You can truly tell like any kind of gunk buildup that you have on any of the ledges, any condensation that's down there, meaning just how often it's really being driven. So you can see that. You'll be able to see some sludge buildup that's in there too, without taking the cover off. Checking over, seeing any oil leaks around the oil filter housing and oil cooler if you have the cooler option. Definitely take a flashlight because it's going to be hard to see some of the pieces, but you want to check the front of the engine with a flashlight to see all that. Next, you're going to want to take your arm, I'm going to fish it down here, and you're going to want to feel your belt. You can feel how tight it is, the tension, as far as if you feel any frays. This is where you need the flashlight as well to be able to do that. And you're just also checking any and all connections, coolant, oil, any kind of coolant hoses that feed off of that. Next, you're going to want to quickly check, reach your arm down here. So this is for the N54. You can reach and feel your actuator arm off your wastegate. They do have some play, so some play is normal, but any kind of major motion play, that would be a problem. So if all that looks good, clean, don't see any concerns. So you want to check the inside just to see how well the condition is of the seats, right? Steering wheel, making sure all the vents work, just everything works in general. This is just the simple stuff. If you see anything, if it looks like it's very well maintained. So my car has 156,000 miles on it, and over the 5 years of owning it, you know, I truly have kept up with it and cared for it for as much as I could and everything else like that. So you're just checking every little thing, making sure every little light works, and this is just little stuff, but it adds up to when you're wanting to negotiate a price on the car. So a few important tips. When you're going to look at your BMW that you're potentially buying, you first and foremost, at the end of doing your check, you need to have peace of mind by paying for a pre-purchase inspection. I can't emphasize how important that is, because that is checking every nook and cranny, because let's be honest, just doing normal checks yourself and checking this and looking underneath the car, you're not gonna see everything. And when you're doing a pre-purchase inspection, yeah, you're paying $150, $200 to give to somebody else, but they're putting on a lift, they're checking the bushings, they're checking every little nook and cranny, a connection part, everything on that car to ensure that it's up to par. That meaning it's all the recalls are done, if you have it done at a BMW or a specified BMW place of business, right? You know, so you don't have to worry about, oh, I gotta bring a code reader or anything else like that. No, they'll check for codes. It's gonna do all that. It's gonna check for all the recalls that you have and everything else like that, right? It's gonna check the wear of the brakes, just kind of like what I was showing you, tires, all the important pieces, leaks, everything. It's a great investment, and I highly suggest you do that. I do emphasize that in my other video, and I'm gonna emphasize it in this video. Now, there are some N54 recalls that are out there that have been out there for quite some while. However, a lot of them are already gonna be completed by now, just because BMW will send out the letters to have those ones done. None of the recalls that are that old are gonna stay out there with yours not being completed, because they would contact you by then, or when you have taken it into a dealership, they would have just done them all. So, you know, and a lot of them have already expired, meaning it's kind of like 82,000 miles or 7 or 8 years. You know, if you're having a 2007, 2008, 2009, you know, you're already at that time period to where it'd be even expired in general. So it just wouldn't apply to you anyways. And that's like the majority of the influx of N54s in general right there, is that during that time period. So more so if you have like a 2010 N54, you can get some luck there with some injectors, but somewhat that's rare because you know, they're just not having as many problems. But if you have a 2010, there is a certain time period and everything else like that you can get in for your injectors. Now, you can also check the maintenance stuff on the BMW that you're looking at right on the iDrive if it has iDrive. If it doesn't, you can still check it on the BC stock menu. But you know, that's as simple as going through the different menu options and seeing what's on there. FYI, anybody can delete those and erase those and bring it back to normal and not replace nothing. So you have to be careful about that too. And that's why you want to do those little checks like I was showing you as far as the brakes. You know, just checking some other things like the oil. You're not going to really have anything that's going to come out there, but some peace of mind would be changing the oil after you buy it. So the biggest thing in general is that pre-purchase inspection, so that way you have peace of mind. If they find something and you're okay with still purchasing the car, you have a negotiating power to get a lower price off of that, so that way, you know, you can go and replace the part if you need to yourself, or you just want to have the dealer replace it or somebody else replace it, right? But you can negotiate that price off, so that way you don't pay X amount of price for a car and then have to turn around and dump $1,000 into it. That's the biggest thing. So you're taking a qualified BMW specified technician to look at your car to make sure it's good to go for your ownership. So harping on that more than anything, because that's gonna really take all the guesswork out of everything, guys. I'm telling you, it's gonna take a lot of guesswork out, and you will have peace of mind on it when you get your BMW. Do your check like I was kind of showing you. Check on my other more in-depth video too to check that. That's more so your check, and then still do the pre-purchase inspection. Other than that, that does it for today. And as always, thanks guys for stopping in. Please be sure to subscribe, like this video, share it around, comment below. Have a great week.